I'm a bad motherfucker.
Jimmy Dore.
We all are Americans and we all need the same things. Good schools, good jobs, healthcare, legal pot. 3 out of 4 ain't bad. The point is...
If the Senate yields to this man, it'll become a laughingstock.
Funniest man on the planet is right here.
I really enjoyed watching you. It's funny and insightful.
Outstanding job.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Great to be here with you. I've admired you from afar.
I hope he watches your show.
Oh, yeah? Remind me, that's good taste. Ladies and gentlemen, from the south side of Chicago, Jimmy Dore!
Hello. So everyone walked in today, said, oh, thank God you're wearing that shirt. It means we're not going to see starving kids today. And no, you won't. But there is no such thing in this inferno of a world we're living in as a slow news day. So let's get to it with my long-suffering co-host, Mr. Keaton Weiss.
Good to see you again. Again and again and again.
Again and again. Every day, man. Every day. It's the lost sequel to Sartre's No Exit.
This is like a Broadway schedule we're working now. We're doing like 7 shows a week.
I know. If we were doing 2 shows on Sunday, it would be a Broadway schedule.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get right to it. Let's get to Iowa. Vivek the Snake, as some call him, has snaked the Donald. His first opening salvo was dropping this picture on Twitter with a group of young men from the wrestling team. I don't know if they were from the wrestling team. They look like they might have been from the wrestling team. And they're wearing a shirt, Save Trump, Vote Vivek. So Vivek's closing argument before Iowa is that you have to vote for him. Basically, the implication is so that the CIA doesn't whack Donald Trump. I mean, that's he's not saying it that way, but would you say that's a fair interpretation, Keaton?
Yes. I mean, that is certainly a fair interpretation. I think more broadly speaking, he's making the argument he knows how the government works so he can protect Trump from the deep state, which could mean from, a CIA it could
mean Luca Brasi.
I mean, it could be an arrest, the FBI going after him. He's basically saying that Trump is a bull in a china shop who doesn't know how to escape the grips of the deep state. I'm smarter than Trump is basically what he's saying. And so I can save his ass. But you have to vote for me to save him. This reminds me of the great marketing campaign, Save Pepsi, Buy Coke.
All right, so of course the Donald wasted no time responding. Vivek started his campaign as a great supporter, the best president in generations, etc. Unfortunately, now all he does is disguise his support in the form of deceitful campaign tricks. Very sly. But a vote for Vivek is a vote for the other side. Don't get duped by this. Vote for Trump. Don't waste your vote. Vivek is not MAGA. The Biden indictments against his political opponent will never be allowed in this country. They are already beginning to fail. MAGA! All right. So Vivek continued on his tour of vote for me and save our beloved Donald. So here he is with a voter.
Scared of you. Just
they
like
are.
They're scared of Trump.
Oh,
they are scared.
And they will stop at nothing, but we're not going to let them get away.
So even got that James Bond music in the background there.
And they're not going to let this man do it.
You know, when you said eliminate, that gave me a chill.
Go
because you think it's false. You think it's true.
I think it's true. I think they will stop at nothing to stop them. Stop Trump.
It's sad, but it's the truth. It's the sad, but it's the truth. So I'm asking you to do your part, and we're going to.
You know,
we can do this. We can do this.
They say, "How do you feel about the United States?" And I say, "I'm worried and I'm fearful."
My job that you don't have to do this country.
But we're losing it.
Show me on the puppet where Vivek touched you. Okay, so then he goes on to try to convince the MAGAs that this isn't about him. It is not about him. It's about Donald.
Here's the hard truth, and nobody seems to want to acknowledge it.
but it's what's happening in plain sight. And I'm going to ask you to open your eyes.
I figured
They
this out
want
2
to narrow
days
this
ago.
down to a two-horse race between...
What's up?
I figured this out 2 days ago, this hard truth. I've been running for president for a year. I've been brown-nosing Trump and currying favor with his supporters for a year. But 2 days ago, when it became time, because after all, politics at the end of the day is a zero-sum game, right? At the end of the day, you either vote for me or vote for Trump. I had to come up with some concocted reason why actually it's in Trump's best interest not to vote for him. And so I came up with this theory in the past 48 hours.
2 days ago, I was doing K with Elon, and we said, you know what? This'll work.
Donald Trump and Nikki Haley, a puppet who they can control. Then they want to eliminate Donald Trump this spring or whenever it is and trot their puppet into the White House. It's hiding in plain sight. We're not going to look back a year from now and say, oh, we were shocked that that happened. I think we're going to look back a year from now and say, how could we not see that happening when every clue was hiding in plain sight? They're selling us the rope today that they're going to use to hang us tomorrow. And we have an obligation to this country to make sure that doesn't happen. I'm in this race because we have a duty to this country and the America First movement to make sure this lives on no matter what. It didn't start in 2016. It started in 1776. And the system has made clear they're going to now stop at nothing. And I mean nothing.
Glory,
to keep Donald J. Trump out of office.
hallelujah.
I have pushed back against this at every step. I've filed FOIA demands against the Biden administration. What did Biden and Merrick Garland tell Jack Smith in those federal prosecutions? This week, I filed a Supreme Court brief laying out what I view as the best legal arguments that the Supreme Court does need to hear in order to overturn Colorado's disastrous ruling. I've pushed back against this at every step. I'm the only candidate who has said I would remove myself from Maine and Colorado's ballots if they eliminate Trump. And I've called on every other Republican to do the same thing because that's how we protect ourselves against this election interference. But at a certain point, we have to open our eyes and see the hard truth. And yes, our duty is to this country. It's all I'm asking is to open your eyes, see the plot. It's staring us in the face. It's a hard pill to swallow, but sometimes the truth hurts and we have to open our eyes to see it.
Okay, so I am on record saying I don't disagree with his overall thesis. I've been saying from the beginning, the deep state is not going to let that man back in the White House, even on a group tour.
Yeah.
No way do they let him set foot back in the White House. I agree with that. Just his pitch that he's the answer to that, I'm dubious about. But I agree with his basic premise that Trump will not be allowed to become president.
Did you see him when he came on? When we talked to him, me and Jimmy?
Yeah.
Okay, so, because he was very, slick. And all his arguments, I mean, for the most part, were all things like that. Like, well, I don't disagree with his argument. You know, he wrote a book called Woke Inc. And I'm like, that's great you wrote that. Like, could have used it maybe 10 or 11 years ago.
Well, and they decided DeSantis has that on lock. So then he shifted his tactics.
Well, he's a double talking douchebag fucking politician at the end of the day, just like the rest of them. Look, the point there where he says the establishment wants to make this a two-person race between Nikki Haley and Donald Trump, right? As if a two-person race between Haley and Trump hurts Trump. Depending on how Iowa goes tonight, DeSantis might not be long for the race. If DeSantis finishes third, he's going to be under a lot of pressure to drop out because the anti-Trump Republican donors are not going to want him tearing at Nikki Haley's vote total in New Hampshire. So if Haley does well tonight and DeSantis doesn't, there's going to be a lot of pressure for DeSantis to drop out. He's almost certainly the next one out of the race anyway, assuming that Vivek stays in. So once DeSantis is out, you then have a three-person race between Haley, Trump, and Vivek, at which point Vivek's presence in the race absolutely hurts Trump, since none of Vivek's supporters would vote for Nikki Haley if Vivek were out. So this idea that, we can't let this become a two-person race between Trump and Haley, Trump would smoke Nikki Haley in a two-person race. If Vivek stays in long enough after DeSantis drops out, that's a drag on Trump. And nothing that this little snake can say can change that. That's just basic math. That's the truth, Vivek, the truth.
All right. Look, I'm going to put in a personal request to the people of Iowa. I'm very busy right now. I don't have time to go back and delete all the videos where I called this race for DeSantis a year ago.
You did?
So do me a favor. Just keep them in. Keep them in for another month or so.
Was that pre-heels?
I'll have a lot more time. Hey, I am one who has been surprised by Trump's resilience. I am definitely surprised, and I've been surprised by how weak a campaign DeSantis ran. You can't just run on Disney. I mean, in Florida, it's the weird evil empire that owns a town, but you can't run nationally on Disney.
I promise you, the heels it's like a Howard Dean of feet. That heels thing. I watched him on the Valuetainment guy. He must really have it in for him because he's asking him to put on shoes to show his shoe size.
That's when you know. That's when you know you've hit rock bottom in politics.
So a long time ago.
So here's Trump responding again. A vote for Vivek is a wasted vote. I like Vivek, but he played it too cute with us. Caucus tonight. Vote for Donald J. Trump. Build up the numbers. In November, we must take our very troubled nation, a nation in decline, back from crooked Joe Biden and the radical left Democrats and thugs who are destroying it. MAGA! So Vivek, I've defended Trump at every step and respect him immensely. So more of the same.
I thought he was going to try to be the vice president. At the time.
So did everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. My theory is he's playing a long game.
Yeah,
that's the only way I can see this. And he'll look like a prophet if he and I are both right. He'll say, see, I tried to warn you, and he'll try to ride that. That's because he can't. I just don't. He's not
a slick dude.
He's not stupid.
Yeah.
I don't believe he thinks this is going to get him past Donald Trump. So what's he thinking? He's thinking he can cash this in later to make himself look like he has vision. So on Truth Social, Fox and Friends is giving DeSanctimonious and Haley one last shot. They are working hard, even using an old CNN fake poll, which shows I am only up on bird brain by 9 points in New Hampshire. I mean, the man has a talent because that works. All other polls say 20 because he has a bird-like quality.
She looks like a bird.
She kind of looks like a bird.
He's able to make the point that she looks like a bird without insulting her appearance. He calls her bird brain.
Bird brain.
Really, she's more like bird head.
Face, right.
Yeah, bird face. But he can't say bird face.
I mean, he could.
Can't get away with that.
He could.
That's true. He probably could. But most people could. Bird brain is the safer way to do it. Yeah.
This is the man who dismissed John McCain's military record by saying he prefers soldiers that don't get captured. He can get away with anything.
Fair point.
All other polls say 20 to 25 points up. Why are they using CNN polls? That's why. Nikki is using an old poll to show she's beating Crooked Joe. She's not. Almost all new polls show she is being decimated by him. I am beating Crooked Joe by a lot in the polls. MAGA!
I'm going to start saying MAGA like aloha like this.
This he signs off everything with the MAGA now. All right, so this is the quality that I believe got Donald Trump where he is today. This is a Trump classic. Listen to his observations about Washington, D.C.
And we will take over the horribly run capital of our nation. Horribly run. We have a capital that we all love. Right now it's a rat-infested, graffiti-infested shithole.
How do you compete with that? I
feel like tonight's the beginning. I feel like we're getting our man back. You know what I mean? This feels like 2016 again. Now the caucuses are going. I feel like he's on his way back. I feel like the cavalry is on its way. I feel like America's ready to be saved.
You think so?
Yeah, that's what it feels like to me.
So the first
Getting
time
those vibes again.
He would have made America great again, but there was the virus of unknown origins. But this time, there's like that was like Rocky, where he actually loses at the end. This is the sequel.
Exactly. That was Rocky 1, where he goes the distance but loses, and then this is Rocky 2, where he wins.
Right. All right. Well, we will see tonight. Misha.
All right.
To you.
Christian Marrero Aaron Mate and Craig Pasta were great guest hosts, but Russell has been the absolute best so far. His sense of humor fits in very well with the show. Keep up the great work, man.
Thank you.
Christo says, shout out to Kit and Hardlands Media. Stay strong.
Yes.
Sean Burke, I like how Vivek is rocking the Rick Grimes murder jacket. Like Smasher says, Vivek is more progressive than he left. How sad. And back to Russ with
Hey, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there for more AM Joy and the rest of MSNBC. And click on any of the videos right here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. And you can get more videos from MSNBC for free every day with our newsletter. Just visit